Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and stay with me, because what you are about to discover about this simple-looking coin could completely change the way you see the change in your pocket. Imagine holding a coin that most people would ignore without a second thought. A small, ordinary piece of metal that passes through millions of hands every single day. Now imagine that this same coin, under the right circumstances, could carry a value so surprising that collectors are willing to search for years just to find one. That is exactly the story behind the 2010 Jefferson Nickel from the United States. At first glance, the 5-cent 2010 Jefferson Nickel does not look extraordinary. It carries the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front, a design that has been a staple of American coinage for decades. On the reverse, you see Monticello, Jefferson's historic home, standing proudly as a symbol of American heritage. Everything about it feels standard, expected, almost too common to be worth your attention. But here is where things begin to change. In the world of coin collecting, value is not always about age. Many people believe that only coins from the 1800s or early 1900s hold real worth. That assumption has caused countless valuable coins to slip through people's fingers unnoticed. The truth is, rarity, condition, minting errors, and unique characteristics can turn even a modern coin like the 2010 Jefferson Nickel into something truly special. The year 2010 may seem recent, but it was a period where subtle variations in minting created opportunities for collectors. Coins from different mints, such as Philadelphia and Denver, were produced in massive numbers, yet not all of them came out perfect. Some carried tiny imperfections, while others displayed striking anomalies that only a trained eye would notice. These small differences are where the real story begins. Collectors are always searching for coins that stand out. A slightly off-center strike, an unusual shine, a doubled image, or even a minor die crack can transform a common coin into a rare collectible. With the 2010 Jefferson Nickel, certain pieces have been discovered with minting errors that make them incredibly desirable. Now think about this. How many times have you received a handful of coins as change and never bothered to look at them closely? How many of those coins ended up forgotten in drawers, jars, or old wallets? It is entirely possible that hidden among them is a coin with characteristics that collectors are actively hunting for. The Jefferson Nickel series itself has a long and respected history. Since its introduction in 1938, it has gone through subtle design changes and minting variations. Over time, certain years have become famous among collectors, not because they are old, but because they are rare in a specific way. The 2010 issue is one of those years that quietly entered circulation without much attention, yet over time, collectors began noticing something interesting. Certain high-grade examples, especially those in near-perfect condition, started gaining attention. Coins that had never been circulated, known as mint state coins, became particularly valuable when preserved with exceptional quality. Condition is everything in coin collecting. A coin that looks worn, scratched, or faded will always be worth less than one that appears almost untouched. For the 2010 Jefferson Nickel, coins graded at the highest levels, with sharp details and flawless surfaces, are incredibly rare. Most coins simply do not survive in such pristine condition after entering circulation. Now imagine finding one that did. There are also special finishes to consider. Some 2010 nickels were produced as part of collector sets, featuring a mirror-like surface known as proof coins. These are struck with extra care and precision, making them visually stunning. While proof coins are more common among collectors, certain variations or perfect examples can still command significant interest. But the real excitement lies in errors. Error coins are the hidden treasures of modern coinage. These are coins that were struck incorrectly during the minting process. Perhaps the design was slightly misaligned, or the metal was not properly prepared. Sometimes the error is so subtle that only experts can identify it, but other times it is obvious enough to catch your attention immediately. For the 2010 Jefferson Nickel, reported errors include off-center strikes, doubled dies, and surface irregularities. These mistakes, while accidental, create uniqueness. And in the collecting world, uniqueness is value. Think about it from a collector's perspective. If millions of identical coins exist, there is no urgency to own one. But if only a handful exist with a specific error or condition, suddenly that coin becomes a target. Collectors compete, prices rise, and what was once ordinary becomes extraordinary. There is also a psychological factor at play. Coins like the 2010 Jefferson Nickel are still within reach. Unlike ancient coins locked away in museums or private collections, this is a coin that could realistically be found in everyday life. That possibility fuels excitement. It keeps collectors searching, checking, and hoping. Now let's talk about how to identify whether your coin might be special. Start by examining the overall appearance. Look closely at Jefferson's portrait. Are the details sharp and clear? Does the coin have a strong, original shine, or does it appear dull and worn? Next, turn it over and inspect Monticello. The lines should be crisp, the steps well defined. Weak or blurred details usually indicate wear, which lowers value. Pay attention to the edges and lettering. Are the words clean and evenly spaced? Do you notice any doubling or unusual marks? These small clues can reveal whether your coin has a minting error. Also, check the mint mark. Coins from different mints can carry different levels of rarity depending on production numbers and survival rates. Even a slight variation in mint mark placement or clarity can matter. If you suspect something unusual, do not rush to spend the coin. Set it aside, protect it, and consider having it evaluated by a professional. Many collectors have made the mistake of ignoring a coin that later turned out to be valuable. Now here comes the part that truly captures attention. While most 2010 Jefferson nickels are worth only their face value or slightly more, there are rare cases where exceptional coins have reached astonishing valuations in the collector market. These are not ordinary examples. These are coins with near-perfect condition, unique errors, or characteristics that set them apart from millions of others. And this is where the story becomes almost unbelievable. There are claims and discussions within collector circles about certain rare 2010 Jefferson nickels reaching values as high as $2 million under extraordinary circumstances. These would be coins that combine extreme rarity, flawless condition, and highly desirable errors. Coins that are not just rare, but nearly impossible to find. Now, it is important to understand that such valuations are not common. They represent the absolute peak of what a coin could achieve under the right conditions. But the fact that such potential exists is what keeps collectors searching. Because somewhere out there, a coin like that could still be undiscovered. It could be sitting in a jar, lying in a drawer, or passing from one hand to another without anyone realizing its true worth. That possibility turns an ordinary moment into an opportunity. Every coin becomes worth a second look. This is what makes coin collecting so fascinating. It is not just about history or metal. It is about discovery. It is about the thrill of finding something valuable where others see nothing. The 2010 Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of this hidden potential. It reminds us that value is not always obvious. Sometimes it is hidden in the smallest details, waiting for someone patient enough to notice. So the next time you receive a nickel, do not ignore it. Take a closer look. Examine the details. Ask yourself whether this could be more than just spare change. Because in the world of coins, even the smallest piece can carry a story worth millions.